Hey everyone, it's Kenlyn and welcome back. This video is going to talk about the sisterhood and the healing of the wounding of the sisterhood that's happening in Venus and Gemini in this new cycle as she conjuncts the sun, making this superior conjunction on June 4th, completing a very old cycle from 2020 where all of the structures, internal and external, have been blown apart. Venus was a part of that. And now she's taking us into new footing. I did a whole video on that. And this particularly, we're going to take this slice of the sisterhood and just present something that I think is really important, especially for my community, the Divine Feminine community, the Evolving Sisters Network community, and what we've been up to. I think it helps to name it because sometimes when we're in the trenches, we can only see our growth at a certain level. But when we're popping up and we're looking at these frequencies that's reflected in the astrology, where we can see like, oh no, we're on completely new footing. And that's true of healing the sister wound. Now, this has been huge because the sister wound goes back to patriarchy when the structure of who wins and who loses pits the feminine against each other. Now, we take responsibility for our role, past lives, current life, and how we've participated in the sister wound. And many of us have been wounded or hurt by our mothers, which set the core of the sister wound, or by our literal biological sisters growing up, or other feminine mentors or significant figures in our lives. So this new cycle of Venus really invites us to take stock of how we have healed. So let's do that. And yes, healing is like peeling layers of onions and we have more to go, but think about 2020. You know, for me and the community of the Evolving Sisters Network, it wasn't even born yet. And I was doing the Divine Feminine Summit. And in 2020, I opened up an entirely new cohort following my summit, very first summit, called the Inner Circle. And so many women that I'm still connected to today jumped in, and we didn't know that the world was going to shut down shortly thereafter. And this in conjunct, so Venus was retrograde, was in conjunct the sun at 13 degrees in Gemini. And that started an entire a cycle of healing. So think about it. We all came together in circles, whether women's circles, inner circles, the feminine owning their personal growth and jumping into cohorts with other women. We have really owned our healing of the sisterhood. And I'm not saying we're there, and I'm not declaring we have no more work to do. I'm declaring completion of a cycle, though. I love to declare completions of cycles. You know, that we can now hold ourselves as having rebirthed into a new cycle. And so who are we now? And what's possible now that we have healed our relationship with the feminine, with other sisters? Now, individually, that may play out where we have to do healings and new things with new circumstances arise with others. We're not saying that it's all rainbows and butterflies, but what we are saying is that on a collective level, we've gotten to an evolutionary point where the feminine is recognized in ourselves and in each other. And in cohorts like the Evolving Sisters Network membership and all the things I do, women are seeing themselves in the other and holding the highest frequency for each other. I see that as the completion of that 4-year Venus retrograde and Gemini cycle, that we're now able to make new choices. So the 4 years we were in lockdown, well, we weren't in lockdown for 4 years, but what that lockdown initiated us to go online and connect to women all over the world. We now can take that into a whole new cycle. So then the question becomes, what's true for you now? How do you love these sisters now? for me and the Evolving Sisters Network, it's moving into collaboration. So the goddess convergence that I'm unleashing on the 25th of June, which will, no matter when you listen to this, you'll be able to go to that website and partake of it, is an exact representation of the new cycle, of the new thing. It's collaboration. It's supporting others to give their gifts. It's seeing others' gifts. And I was saying this in the Venus transmission, that when we pick our lane, and maybe this was the transmission for just Gemini in general, when we focus and we pick our lane and we make choices that are authentic, that are really about what is the medicine that I'm here to bring, what happens is we drop the competition. You know, when I don't know who I am and I need to claim this space and this space and this space because I feel so threatened, because I'm not claiming and owning my authority in one space, then I've set up competition. And now I can't be fully in enjoyment of the sister who's doing that thing because I think I should be doing it. However it plays out for you in the shadow, you know your nuances. And I'm not talking about being a manifesting and generator and doing a lot of things. No, I'm talking about not knowing who you are and trying to be all things to all people. Oh, I can do sister circles. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. I can do that. I can do that. Chances are you've started to hone in. That's a very entry level view, like entry level. Mastery is choosing and focusing. And that's what Gemini is asking. And that segues with this Venus frequency, this new Venus frequency, because when we're choosing, we own the authority in that space. And then we become comfortable in our own skin. And when we become comfortable in our own skin, then the voice, the message that comes through us is clearer. It's got our signature, our energy signature, our soul signature on it. So there now is no competition because no one else has your energy and soul signature. And I know who I'm about, and I can let go of the things that I'm not about. And I think that the shadow of Gemini is wanting to follow these bright, shiny objects and wanting to be all things to all people. But this choosing, and that's the higher octave of Gemini, the choosing then depletes the competition, the competitiveness inside of us. And it opens us up to the gold of really acknowledging each other. And that heals the sister wound. You know, I worked all the way around that to get to the sister wound. That's one of the ways that it's happening. And we're also getting to know each other. In my community, we're focusing on intimacy because there's all kinds of ways you can digest information. We are in an information age, and Gemini is blasting it out. Pluto and Aquarius blasting it out, AI. But what's the one thing that's now got currency that, because information is now so readily available, it's connection. It's intimacy. It's not just going out with your sisters, having a good time, going out to dinner, like that kind of thing, going to the movies. Nothing wrong with that. But that's not intimacy. The intimacy is being seen, bearing your heart, your soul, being vulnerable. And that magnetically draws people to you. And that's what's happening in my container. And then as a result, and others, I'm sure, because this is the energy. And as a result, people are like, oh, I want to show up even more. I want to take this on. I want to support here, because they're feeling juiced up, and then they get clear about what's theirs to do, because all the other not self stuff falls away when you're truly seen. And that helps you in every aspect of your life. So Venus conjunct the sun in this new cycle where she's receiving the new codes, and the superior conjunction in Gemini is healing, has healed, has declared healing on the sister wound. And now in the new cycle, the next 4 years till 2028, we are living that. We're going to have a new upgrade in 2028. But what from now to 2028, where are we going in the sisterhood? What do we need to do? For me, it's collaboration. It's working together. It's deeper intimacy. It's allowing someone to see you in a way that maybe you don't even see yourself, and being reflected back. Allowing the things that you're super scared of, the parts of you that you hide, to come out into sacred space and be alchemized. We can all use more of that. It's then even up-leveling our communication. It's learning how to share in a way that invites others into a particular listening. Those are all the things that I'm up to inside of our container. I'd love to hear what you are presencing of the next 4 years will be like for the feminine and for sisterhood. That we're here to weave. I've got my part, you have your part, we're here to weave. And then we'll get our new assignment in 2028. And I don't even know what that is, because all we need to focus on, we'll create the new assignment as we do this job really well. So in summary, let's declare completion on the healing of the sister wound. And I know that we have to keep declaring completion day after day sometimes, but let's really get that the collective has moved through something. And now we have a new assignment, and to really tune in, what's our new assignment in sisterhood? All right. May all beings benefit from the merits of our efforts. Thank you for listening.